start recording. Give me a second for Craig to join. Volume alert for anybody who hasn't turned Craig down.
All right.
Which would be me. I didn't turn Craig down.
I
All right.
Craig on a quarter volume.
Let's see. Let's also get table plop on. And the
There's
character
my
on my phone.
Okay. Last time we all met, the party had arrived at YesterHill, following up on the winery's missing gems and meeting up with Muriel Vinshaw, a were-raven, friend of the Mardikoff family and member of the Keepers of the Feather. Strahd was there, gazing longingly at the images formed by the wall of mist to the west of the hill. After a few moments of the party discussing their potential plan of action, Strahd finished his moment of gazing into the fog and ascended to the top of the Druid's Hill, seeming to have given the command for the Druids to begin their ritual, and began to descend the hill upon his flaming horse in your direction. You all quickly hid yourselves further into the trees off the road, but your group stealth check failed to hide you from his gaze. After an exchange of words between the party and Strahd, Irina was charmed by his vampiric gaze and heeded his request to come with him. And not wanting to fight, the party decided that there wasn't much else they could do about it, so they let Strahd take Irina. Stormy did attempt a last-ditch effort with a charm person on Irina after Strahd agreed to allow her to shoot her shot, as they say. But this also failed, and Irina was taken by Strahd. Shortly thereafter, Tegan was attempting to be deliberate, coordinated, and tactical with how the party approached the hill. However, Manu, with his anger towards the terrorizers of the Mardikoff family, and the rest of the party seeing red from having just been punked by Strahd, it quickly became no tactics, just rage. And a battle broke out. 6 berserkers came to defend the druids who were focused on their ritual. You felled all 6 of the chanting druid non-combatants, ending whatever ritual they were performing before it could be completed, and turned your focus towards the relentlessly attacking berserkers. Lightning was called forth, sleep spells were cast, bodies were shoved off cliffs. Party members came in and out of consciousness for the duration, but you all emerged victorious, leaving none of your enemies alive, Stormy slaying the final berserker. And upon taking apart the gnarled wooden effigy that the druids had been chanting towards, you found the winery's missing green gem, lodged into its chest cavity. So Tegan took that into her inventory. Manu's two castings of locate object did not direct towards either of the other 2 missing gems. Tegan then used the Gulthias staff and its properties to infiltrate the Blight's nest between the Gulthias tree, to snag the fancy-looking axe sunk into the base of the tree next to a dead body. And lastly, Dratari lit up the effigy, destroying it in fire. And that's where we left off. We ended abruptly because it had gotten very late. So now the party is still atop the hill with Muriel the Were-Raven, the green magic gem in hand, and a dozen felled enemies at your feet. Sulking blights rustle under the Gulthias tree, and you have a shiny new axe. Feeling successful, it takes you a moment to remember what that Irina was taken from you. There was talk about heading back towards the winery to return the gem, or what else to do next. But yeah, what are y'all doing next?
I just wanted to clarify that I only had the green gem in my handyman's. I can't remember it.
Handy Fanny.
Yeah, that's it. I only had that so that the locate object wouldn't trip on that gem. Otherwise, I passed it off to Muriel. So
Oh, okay.
she's the one who has it now. With the understanding that if we do not return to the winery, at the very least, she will.
Well, it is on the way to basically anywhere from here. Thank you for big deed you did here. I would suggest perhaps not lingering. These, and she points towards the felled combatants at your feet. These are not the only residents at this hill. I expect more will be returning.
And that's all the more reason to follow up on this event with, as I said before, firebombing the area from the sky in any way you guys can in order to thin out their ritual site.
Indeed. Well, I'll have to discuss with Martikovs how best to do that. In flying raven form, we are not really so much with the carrying of fire that we can throw. So, but we can workshop this.
Sounds like a plan. So I suppose we should be on our way then, before more folks come?
That would be prudent, I believe.
Fair enough. And before turning away with the, going down the road, Jutari does do one last turn to the... is the Berserkers also humanoid, or were they like the...
Yeah, they
Constructs?
look human. They're just gross and dirty looking.
Okay. So before turning away, she then goes back and tries to close the eyes of everyone that looks humanoid in the group and just says like a prayer saying, may Zaldan forgive me and for those... May Zaldan both forgive you and these men, kind of thing. And he turns to go with the rest of the party if the rest of the party is already leaving.
Well, when I see Dratari doing that, I'll kind of somewhat be doing more generalized rites around, but also doing the post-combat throat cutter routine of making sure they are dead and stay that way, and slitting their throats and possibly even removing a few key organs, like trying to cut out hearts and whatnot, since you can't revive someone who's had their heart cut out.
Okay, well, so Dratari is going around very, very priestly, like kind of saying a blessing and an apology and kind of like, and Tegan is just going around like double tapping everything, just remorselessly.
Hey, I'm also doing my cleric routine. I'm being priestly about it.
Jutari doesn't realize what you're doing there at all and throat slapping and just like assuming that, oh, okay, cool, she was also in on the game.
I'm just happening to be a bit rather ancient Egyptian priestly about it.
Exactly.
Very good, very good.
Wow, strange ritual. Thanks. Says the Scientologist character, essentially. Anyways.
Manu, you are feeling lingering feeling at the top of this hill. It's subtle but deep. It's like a very, very old magic. And it's reminding you of the time you spent at the Standing Stones outside of the Bone Grinder.
That's very strange. Can I? I don't know how I'd be able to, but I mean, is there some way I could probably like figure out what a connection might be?
Make an Arcana check.
An 11.
Yeah, you're not even sure if it's psychosomatic, just shivering after, it could just be PTSD having a physical effect over you. You're not even 100% sure. But you have the seeking suspicion that there's something old here and powerful, but somehow dormant, but pushed down deep.
Is there like an entrance somewhere on this hill? Is there like a way into the hill, like a sort of like a barrow mound?
If you want to spend a minute looking, you could make a investigation check.
Yeah, I'll take a second. We don't. There's nobody here.
And I think, yeah, we're already.
There are a bunch of you. You would probably want to be avoiding.
Oh yeah,
avoiding
there
those
are
trees.
around the tree.
There are
yeah.
areas of this hill you might want to avoid. So a thorough search is perhaps out.
Okay, yeah, just where I know it's safe. So basically, that's only like half the hill, maybe. But I got a 13.
Okay. Looking around, you do see a lot of I think you took kind of the direct path up. You didn't kind of walk around the two other terraces. And you're looking around there, and a lot of these are just I'm not sure if I'm mispronouncing this, but I think they're called cairns. They're like burial mounds, like piles of rocks, and a lot of them are like large enough for you to step inside. But there are a lot of them. After a few minutes of searching, you estimate it could take you a half an hour just to do one ring. And there's 2 rings of these.
I'll peek inside like a couple of them just to see what's in there.
Yeah, it's just dirt trails. Each cairn is a 10-foot high mound of slimy black rocks. You could poke into them. A lot of them appear to have remained undisturbed for centuries, but there are a few of them that look perhaps to be like living quarters, like active, bedroll in there. And you did see druids coming out of some of these when Strahd approached the top of the hill, and kind of you didn't see or hear this take place perhaps, but you could, a good guess would say, like, he went up to initiate the ritual, so a lot of the druids came out to do their little chanting circle.
It does seem to make sense that they would live here.
But yeah, poking around maybe at a few bedrolls or what, you're not just searching through a few, you're not seeing like a false bottom or like an access to a larger space than the outside of these slimy rocks would suggest.
I'll just sort of keep the thought about the magic with me. Maybe we can circle back around to that when we if we meet somebody that might here and what their significance might be.
And the other four of you just like idly shuffling your feet, watching Manu snoop around 30 and 50 feet below.
I'd like to imagine that would have been kind of
The same
somewhat
time that
concurrent
yeah.
with the throat cutting and all of that.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Although when Manu does come back, I do ask. Oh yeah, Jatari just goes there. Hey Manu, is everything all right? Anything?
It's just the, I don't know. It feels kind of weird here. What with the storm and everything. It's just kind of like the lightning is just kind of always there. But it has a similar feeling. There's a windmill that we went to. Um, we killed everybody there on purpose, and
I'm going
there
to
were also.
interrupt and lean over to Jatari at that point and say, they were fiends, devilish things.
Oh,
and we didn't kill everyone. I actually addressed to Manu. We saved the kids that they were trying to eat.
Oh, I forgot about the kids. Okay, so we didn't kill everyone, but we killed the witches that were there, and there were standing stones nearby. They kind of similar like this. Well, not really like this, but they were standing stones, and they had a thing. They had a kind of a magic feel about them.
well, I don't know if it can help, but I can take a quick look and then immediately use one of my divine senses slots to see. Yeah, detect good and evil until the next end of your turn. You can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within celestial fiend undead within 60 feet. This is not that is not being total that is not behind total cover. And
I'm going to cast Detect Magic and also try to get a feel from the area, given what Manu was saying.
Dratari, you're not detecting good, evil, fiends, celestials, undead, any of that really within 60 feet. And Tegan, you have cast Detect Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check.
Tegan, there I is. Perception, all the way there. 14.
Okay. I'll say that's enough. And I think Detect Magic doesn't usually call for a perception roll. It just pops out obvious magic things at you. But you look around thinking you're seeing nothing for a while. But I think you realize that these kind of like two basically the ring of stones that's separated by an entrance and an exit. There's a subtle glow of a color that you're not used to associating with one particular school or another. But you almost missed it. That coming from the stones, there's just like a subtle, unfamiliar glow that you almost missed.
Should I / may I make an Arcana check for any of this?
You certainly may.
Only a 10. A natural 3. I have expertise. I have expertise in this, and this is only the second time I've managed double digits on a roll.
Perhaps remind me if your memory is different than mine. Did you join Manu when he inspected the standing stones at
Yes.
at the old bone grinder? You did. Okay. For
Yes.
some reason, I thought you
It
had.
was Manu and I had a very long discussion, just he and I, when we were out there about it. It's the
Yeah,
only
in
reason.
real life, I think that was like a year ago. So, good memory. Yeah. Did you cast detect magic at that time?
I do not think I did.
Yeah, I don't remember.
If I were to wager a guess, I'd say 80% or more sure that I did not.
Okay. Yeah, that is the problem with relying on audio for notes, is that, like, okay, real quick, let me listen to 5 hours on the old Bone Grinder episode to remember whether or not. So yeah, we'll say, since you're pretty sure you didn't, that you didn't. But yeah, you do, alongside with Manu, feel a kind of strangeness, like almost like you're not 100% sure if this is a sensation that you're sensitive to, that you're picking up like a magical thing, or if you're just a little bit body hurt and shivering from having gone in and out of consciousness in a big fight just now.
Yeah, the post-combat adrenaline crash is ridiculously painful sometimes.
So should we stay around and investigate this feeling of yours more? Kind of addressing both of them. Plural you, not you. And just say, or should we get going?
I don't think we really have the resources to stay here and figure out what's up with these stones.
Hard agree.
Fair enough. I've done my rights that I need to do, so
2 HP.
ready when.
Hmm?
What?
I have 2 HP. I don't have the resources to do anything.
Fair enough. I suppose. By whomever's lead.
And Muriel's like, I'm similarly looking not so well. Perhaps not so bad as you, but should
Not a
we
competition. We can all be struggling.
regroup at the winery, perhaps?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that sounds.
See you
that
there,
sounds
Mary.
good.
Let's put
Yeah.
this gem to work. Stormy is Thursday.
Let's make some wine.
We got the shitty gem, right?
The green one?
Yeah, we got the purple dragon crush, which is
I mean,
the
not shitty, serviceable.
Tegan handed it to me, but if
yeah.
you
That's
feel
what I
perhaps,
meant. We've
we
obtained
are
it.
going to have to roll for a random encounter along the road. Perhaps one of you can hold it safer, but I feel I am comfortable with holding it. If you're comfortable with my safekeeping, keeping it back to the Martikovs.
If we get ambushed by druids or their servants or whatever, you have the luxury of escape by air. We don't. So you have more ability to make sure it stays out of people's hands than we do.
That is a fair point, and of course I remembered that about myself.
Oh yeah.
But for
Wings.
now, I can walk with you.
Sounds good.
If you prefer to have, I don't know what kind of secret keepsies you have with each other, but I could let you to walk on your own. Your call.
I think our only all of the stuff we wanted to keep secret just got kidnapped by Strahd, so
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we kind of goofed that.
yeah. So I think
Yeah,
we're all
that
good at this
seemed to
point.
be a very bad scene, but I'm scarce to think what any of us could have done to alter those circumstances.
I think everything we could do, Sonny tried.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we could
hit
have
on
tried.
her.
We could have tried to kill him. I don't know how well that would have gone though.
I think that would also end with us being killed as well. So, yeah. Better to try while we can still live.
Yeah.
Having a second attempt is a lot easier to do while still alive. Let's just put it that way. Shall we go?
I mean, we haven't tried killing him while dead. Although I guess Manu and Tegan are like halfway there. I don't know what they are.
Okay, so y'all are heading down the road. I did roll a 2, so there's no random encounter for this stretch of the road. So unless there's further conversation y'all want to be having before you arrive at the winery, that's where you have got to.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Jatara is good for now. Unless if anyone else has questions or something to bring up before we get there.
I think we've squirreled as much as we could.
Alright.
I think.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did.
once we get back, maybe we can rest and then maybe figure out what's our next plan, because the whole reason we're here was to get Irina through that town, but now that we don't have Irina, we don't need the wine.
We still need the wine.
To get to the town.
But we don't. Why
It's
do we need to go
important
to
to
the
the
town?
people.
Because we don't have a. Well, we'll talk about it in character later.
Sure.
But that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, at this point we have lost a lot of our clear goals, and we definitely, once we've had an opportunity to actually long rest, probably at the Wizards of Wine's place again, we do definitely, I do agree, we do need to organize our thoughts and mission plan.
So walking up upon the winery, you do hear the distant cawing of ravens. Muriel is walking up ahead. You approach the front of the building and you see Lancelot is still happily playing with the baby were ravens in raven form. One is kind of like riding on the head, one is kind of like riding on the back. Two are kind of flying up little sticks for Lancelot to kind of bite at. And Erwin Mardikoff is there tending to some of this, from months ago in real life, but in game time, just like I think yesterday, just like all the debris from the fight you had with the blights and the few druids. He's cleaning up. It's like, you have returned. And Muriel, is that the green gem I see? She comes up and says, "Yes, these individuals, they did quite a bit. There's many enemies, but they had this packed into this statue that looked kind of like Strahd, and they were chanting at it. I don't know if they were trying to make it come alive or." And she kind of shivers. Erwin Markov kind of looks over at the group. It's like, you have done well today. You have done well for my family these last several days. Please, come join us. You look weary. You could rest. It is safe here for now.
Thank you. That is very generous of you.
It's nice to be somewhere that feels safe.
Nice to be home.
Well, we don't have walls, and there's always prowling things in these lands, and walls would help keep this more safe. But inside winery after dark is pretty good. Outside in the wine fields, most of the time pretty good at night, but iffy sometimes.
Okay then.
But yes, come in. Food, rest.
Thank you. And then
Tell me what. Tell me of your deeds.
Well,
So-
we kind of just killed everything that was there.
everything. Kinda- oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like Muriel said, they were doing a ritual of some kind. We focused on killing the people that were casting the ritual and thankfully managed to actually disrupt it in time. But then a bunch of their brute bodyguard guys showed up, and Tegan kind of waves around to how damaged the party is. And they managed to do quite a lot to us, but we ended up being the victors. But at the same time, a lot of the reason that we had for moving forward was the person that we were escorting, and before the fight even began, the Lord of the Land showed up and kidnapped our ward. So Tegan does a
around at your group. He's like, "Oh yes, the young woman. He took her."
Yes, out of some weird. I'm not quite sure of the ins and outs of it, but something to do with his wife.
The man is very creepy.
So yeah, I suppose we'll need to face that hopefully sooner than later if we have any chance of getting her back without any sort of like possession or whatever is going on with that sort of situation. Or supplantation, whatever.
transmutation,
Oh, okay.
transformation, transmogrification. He's got friends on the other side.
Thank you. I knew I recognized that from somewhere.
I'm not 100% sure if I know that that's a Calvin and Hobbes reference or if I'm wrong.
Princess and the
Princess
Frog.
and the Frog.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Although you could, at least transmogrification was also from Calvin Hobbes.
Yeah, wasn't that what they had written on the side of the cardboard box?
Only if it's sideways. Because if it's up and down, then that's a time machine. And I can't remember what happened if it was down. I can't remember. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, just like heavy heart charge starts swinging like a big thing of ale that I'm assuming is there. Or wine, I mean. Tankard of wine.
Yeah, we can fast forward to y'all going up to the dining area, the second floor of the winery. There's plenty of foods, not super fancy, but I feel like it's at least farm fresh, very rustic meals, and yes, plenty of wine.
And after a heavy draft, just not slamming down, but just heavy down, and goes. So let me get this straight though. So for these magic gems that you use to make your vine, which is very good, you're making vine when it can also make some sort of weird winter splinter happen to for other people. Like, how powerful are these magical items that you're just using to make a vine? And is it actually?
I don't know per se. The story goes long ago. Martikov family was given these gems by deep, powerful magic ladies who kind of represented this land, but long, long ago, and was given to our family for the express purpose of making our winery fruitful and abundant and sharing the fruits of our labors with those in the valley. And they have been in our family for a long, long time. One has been missing since much longer than me or my father was alive. Like I mentioned previously, the one you have returned just went missing, and another one had been missing for several years. I think 9 at this point.
So in this case, just so that we don't, have another situation on our hands, how can we keep it safe? Well, you guys can still use it for making a wine.
We do our best we can in Whale Raven in hybrid form to defend Winery when we come under attack. But lately it's been coordinated attacks between the druids and nasty folk of YesterHill and the raven scaring straw people of Baba Lysaga.
Yeah, there was a lot of corrupted plant creature life at the ritual site, and a large corrupted, basically a large plant that acted as a focus for the creation of that kind of corrupted plant life. And conceivably, the ritual site could be purified by high-level magic. But failing that, I highly recommend you do overhead spraying of oil and light it all on fire and burn the corrupted plants and plant life to the ground and disrupt the ritual site. Still, if you happen to know of any powerful priestly people who could purify it, I would recommend doing that also. But the sooner you deal with it, the less likely you are to have to deal with coordinated attacks from evil druids in the future. Because they're just going to be attracted to a site that grants them more of their power. And that's way too close to you.
He nods at you, sort of in agreement. I agree, these nasty neighbors to be so nearby. Eradication would be in my family's best interest, but I'm hesitant to rain down fire on sacred site for the devil. I have no love for this man, but no suicidal ideation to cross him. I know this place is also special to him. I do not wish to stick dick in it, as they say.
The site is independently sacred or desecrated currently. The high priestly magics would fix the desecration and turn it to sanctification. But the corruption of the Gulfius is destroying the Gulfius, which is what helps make it a focus for the druids, is kind of independent from that. So you'd be making it less of a site for them, but you wouldn't be undoing the underlying enchantments that help the stone circles be attuned to him. I really do not think that the two have much to do with one another.
I will gather my keepers of feather and discuss what to do about this YesterHill problem.
Yeah,
But I do very much appreciate you returning Gem to us.
okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, on to the other matter at hand that we've been kind of going around the edges for. What about Irene?
Oh.
Irina?
Irina, there we go, yes.
I don't think. Go ahead.
We'd want to save her, ideally. The one of the members of our crew that did step into these lands that is no longer with us is probably likewise hypnotized and has joined with Strahd in a similar manner. We would ideally really like to save them both. But having gone, I won't say toe-to-toe with him directly, but close enough to it in the town of Vallaki where we know exactly what our current chances would be, there's no way we could manage to mount a rescue operation that depends on force or stealth at this time without gathering greater strength, allies, tools, etc.
I don't like it, but you have a point.
Yeah, there's just no way. If we got the staff of the Mad Wizard, there have been sightings of the Mad Mage we found out since then. Strahd made a point to desecrate a church ground and destroy the reliquary of the saints' bones that had been there. So we might want to find more religious sites and safeguard them from his corruptions in order to have safe grounds. We might want to. Oh, there was a glowing sword that we found out from the same magical card reading that told us about the staff.
Did we hear about a sword? Did we hear about the staff when we got our?
Well,
Yeah,
we
we heard about the staff.
them, but I don't think we knew very much about them,
We just
even that. Like,
sorry, go ahead.
are you speaking about the sword in terms of what our characters would know, or what you know about the sword? Because I feel like the sword information was very in passing and riddle-ish.
It was very in passing and riddle-ish, but our missing paladin also had I think caused by the card reading and possibly the same night thereof, had a dream of the sword, of the glowing sword. I don't remember any of the other details about it, but I know that our last paladin was very interested in pursuing that. Both in character and out, and had made mention of that.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I believe Madame Ava said something to the extent of you can find a sword made of sunlight, I think, in a tiny castle inside a mountain.
I didn't even remember all of that, and I honestly don't think I would remember. I
Time
remember
spent.
that
That's
that
a
I've
much
lead
in
spent
character.
character.
6 months using mold earth inside every mountain.
Yeah, I
6
I
feet at a
didn't
time.
I didn't remember that out of character, and I highly doubt I would have remembered those details in character. In part because I would have been relying on the person that part of the reading was directed towards.
I think I've
Which
also failed in my duties just to try to like speed up some of the flow of gameplay, like not necessarily narrating dreams every single night that y'all take a long rest. But I think visions of references to the card reading by Madame Ava kind of float in and out, interwoven between also. And I think Manu and Tegan specifically, since you've lingered at a couple of these sites, have the repeating floating in and out of your general just like gory nightmare dreams, just visions of three separate areas that are rings of standing stones.
and pertinent to that point, have those dreams changed much at all since our dark gifts?
Mostly not.
Okay.
Has Sunny been having those dreams, and are our dreams combining at all? Like, would I be having dreams about that sword at all?
Or me, for that matter.
Yeah, I think images that kind of like images that would be conjured up by kind of the mystical language of Madame Ava about um, uh, let's see, I don't have the actual document of
It's okay. I
what
just
she's
wanted to
talking
know
about.
if Sunny would be having those, because for Sunny does not believe fortune telling at all. As a con artist,
Mhm.
con recognized con, uh, doesn't trust anyone else's opinion on the matter either. But if she's having sword dreams, okay, now it's serious because it's her.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
know I
definitely
had
keep up the illusion that your Tear Nope deck that you do readings from is very real, and you are like as part of your street performance. I think you're very much giving out the guys that oh yes, this is very real, but you're just like scamming people out of 16 gold for you flipping 4 cards
Oh yeah.
and saying some mystical sounding words.
I do remember that aside from the card reading, again, I think during the card reading, but if not during, definitely after, there were visions that Manu and I both shared specific to the staff of it being under running water. Um, Stuff like that. There were 3 cards, and 2 of them were an item, but I don't even remember what the third one was at all.
There was 5 cards. 3 of them were items. One of them was a destined ally in your fight against Strahd, and one of them is divining the location of a final showdown with Strahd.
And on top of that, is Dratari getting these, or is it just plain gore for her since she was the
Dratari is not getting the card reading stuff.
Yeah.
Are the cards on the splash page the ones that we drew? The ones
Yes.
that we got?
Mhm.
Yes.
Cool.
I want to say I'm scrolling up on in-game handouts. I feel like one of these is going to be a PDF. Or maybe I emailed that one to you because I think I remember that one was too big of a file for me to
Okay.
drop into Discord without paying for Nitro.
I'm guessing that the reason for the symbols around it might be because of what the 3 items were:
Yes, and I think
the
during the
medallion,
reading,
a book, and the glowing sword.
yeah, I think during the reading, kind of Madame Avia with a flair for the dramatic and a touch of the performer, kind of over the course of turning the cards, kind of conjured up an illusory image of kind of what that card was representing.
That's what it was. That's the vision thing I was talking about. Um, But yeah, and so yeah, we do have in character knowledge that there is a glowing sword, and we are meant by the destiny revealed in the cards, at least, if nothing else, to retrieve it and use it against Strahd. And the two other items and the ally, and we're meant to fight him at least once at whatever spot, which I don't even remember what the spot was. Was the ally the Mad Mage? Because I remember
It was something like that. I don't know if they said mad mage. I know they said powerful wizard, mind is broken, but spells are powerful, something like that. The card was broken one.
the Mad Mage is what the people in the town were calling him. In I think Valaki were calling him when they said there were sightings of him, and for a long time, I thought that was two different people because I thought the mage that the Cirrus was talking about was someone who faced Strahd and died. But a couple of sessions ago, you clarified that no, those two were the same person, and that person has been seen alive, and that. So someone I thought was dead is not dead, just wandering.
So
The
in that case,
confusion might have come from, I think, one of the Vistani at the same Vistani encampment that Madame Ava was at, the first one that you visited, not the one outside of Valaki. The morning after you got the Taroka reading, you were having some breakfast with some Vistani outside of the camp, and they told you a couple stories. And one of them was a story of a wizard that was thrown off the Sayre Falls, the place where Stormy had built kind of a Minecraft staircase up, like 1,000 foot. So I think that Vistani either believed or led y'all to believe that whoever was in a fight with that at that time had died during that fall.
And I was under that
that-
impression for a long time.
That might have been the confusion, but yes, there have been sightings of what you believe to be the same wizard referenced in the card reading and this story.
Okay. But yeah, so his stick, a glowy sword, possibly him himself.
I'm not sure the reference to his stick that you're referring to, though.
the staff, I guess, under running water.
Yeah, I remember at some point in time having had a vision of an archmage's staff under running water.
I don't specifically remember that. I'm sorry if I can't answer questions, but I'm not recalling that. Sorry.
All good.
Well,
So, oh, good.
If I'm completely wrong that there is no such staff and it's not underwater or anything, it's just one more thing out of all of that I would have been both in and out of character confused / mistaken about, and I am perfectly fine with that.
And I'm assuming that we're kind of also having this in universe as well, just so that we don't have to repeat ourselves. So what I'm getting at is it might be a high time to visit this Mad Hatter of a magician, as it were.
That's not a bad idea. I do think that since we're already closer to we were going to the cathedral, and like I said, one of the things that we should check on is sacred sites, since there is at least some degree of safety at them, potentially, and they are to some degree targets because of that. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to at least check it out, especially so that if and when we do manage to rescue some people, we have somewhere to take them, and we have confirmed that we have somewhere safe to take them. Plus, it's probably on the way to anywhere else from here, since everywhere else is north of here.
Erwin, who's kind of, I think, canonically probably stepping in and out of the dining room strategically for if you needed him to be listening in on your conversation, and out of the room if you needed anything private. Steps back in is like, along that note, Alexei will be returning with wagon tonight, so we can prepare for wine shipment to Krezk in morning. I wasn't sure if you were still going there or not, or if you're. It sounds like you're perhaps.
Deciding.
Aimless is wrong word, but if I may throw another suggestion into hat, as they say. As I mentioned previously, this Witch of the Woods, you have you have done so well as to return our green gem to the Motterkoff family. We have good reason to believe that this Witch of the Woods has our yellow gem in the swamp, formerly known as the village of Perez.
Oh, the Babri Saga, yes?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, and there
can-
are
Oh, yeah.
there are a couple reasons we can go and see her.
I think Muriel is taking one or two keepers of feather to scope out the area soon.
Woo. And how far away is that? Is that just like... Oh, right, we passed it on the way here. Never mind. So, yeah.
We passed the road that leads to it.
You pass the
Yeah.
road that leads to it.
But we can see about the other gem. We can ask her about Strahd, and I had something else, but I can't remember.
We can also make her an ally, right? Is that friendship?
I would not be friends with that swampy cunt.
And also, yeah, the whole time, just that very big, stupid grin, just like...
Oh, and we can ask her about the sword made of sunlight if
yeah.
if she might know where that might be.
This Babala saga has been described to us as being kind of a mother figure to Strahd. And I look over at the person who is the Wizard of Wines, because he's the one who said that to us. It's like, is that not correct?
No, I think it was.
I believe it was a druid that called her Strahd Mother.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Erwin Mardikoff will respond. It's like, well, I guess that's how the lore goes, or at least what she believes. That I don't know. Crazy woman lives in swamp. It seems to me that if this was mother of Strahd, she would be in castle. But he's not a nice person. Maybe he treats his real mother as such. I do not know. I do not care. I do not like this woman. I wish her death.
But
Well-
you...
And I'm also thinking that a swamp witch that those druids had a significant degree of reverence for is probably not less dangerous than them.
Oh, no, I'm assuming this is going to be very shortly a conversation and very longly a encounter.
Well, I mean, she lives alone, so maybe she'll be more apt to talk rather than just try and kill us like everything else.
One could hope.
Well, if you go with our friend Muriel, perhaps if you really wish to risk your hands with conversation with her, please split ways, because this woman is killer of ravens.
Oh,
Yeah, that's probably a very bad sign.
we can talk afterwards.
None of us are ravens.
Speaking of that,
Okay.
your
Yeah.
order is probably I mean, this is a very, very, very low bar that you have managed to exceed by a lot, but you are probably the most benevolent group we've encountered in these lands.
True.
Do you know of anyone else, especially any other organizations, groups, or cathedrals, temples, whatever that to a relevant degree opposes the current regime?
Well,
Anyone?
as for me and my house, we keep with birds of a feather. We do not affiliate with any churches or other organizations. We keep it safe with our own kind.
I understand that, but at the same time, how do I put this? Your group has people in the towns. You quite literally keep eyes in the sky. You know far, far more about the dealings in these lands than we would. I'm not asking if you actually associate with any other groups. I'm asking if you know of anyone else that if we were to try to infiltrate the castle in order to try and get our ward back and possibly our companion back, if it is not already too late for either of them, but if it would be possible, if you know of anyone who would be likely to be recruited as a kind of ally, either in the assault or people who run locations or groups that we could retreat to for shelter and aid before and after such an event.
Especially
He sort of
Gems.
grins at you a little bit and says, "Well, I very much appreciate the high esteem you seem to hold me in. It is perhaps I have misled you. Not you have seen many ravens, yes, but not every raven you see is raven. One of us. There are hundreds of thousands of ravens, one of the most prevalent species in this valley, but there's numbers less than 100 of us, and we have eyes and ears many place, but we are not hive mind. We do not know all or see all. And in fact, we do not really bother ourselves with what's going on in the villages. We mostly use this to keep ourselves safe. As far as directing you to allies, I could put you in contact with other Martikovs and non-family keepers of the feather. And as far as allies in a full-on assault against the castle, I am afraid keeping me and my own safe is top priority, and we will not back something that is not sure thing.
Well, yes,
We
I
can
understood
shelter
that, but I was more questioning if you knew of any priestly or paladin orders or anything like that. If there's any crusaders around.
Well, there used to be long ago, Argynvostholt, the very, not holy, but perhaps holier than thou type of organization, led by some. They said it was a dragon, but yes, I know not. But yeah, long dead. The place is said to be very spooky, perhaps haunted by the spirits of these men. But yeah, thus were ravens. We do not fly there either.
It was led by a silver dragon.
How weird for a order of paladins to be following some weird dragon. Again, irony just not hitting her at all. While she's wearing a frog
Um,
on her emblem. There we go. That's weird.
so
believe Argynvostholt was his name.
Yeah, considering it's called Argynvostholt, that sounds about right. But yeah,
Have we
that's another place we should check out. There might be some leftover stuff that could help us in our fight.
Leftover shining sword.
Well, maybe not the shining sword, but other stuff. I mean, they
have we
were
heard, have we actually heard about this in character before?
yeah.
I think you
We heard
talked
about
to
it from the
Dusk
Dusk
Elf at the
Elves.
Vistani
Oh, okay.
Casimir Velakovna or something like that. It was Casimir. I'm
Yep.
blanking on the last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Casimir.
Okay.
He told us about he told us about um, Argynvostholt. He also wants his sister's remains.
So,
That nearby.
we have the concept of checking out holy sites, checking out rumors about the items that the card reading revealed to us, making our way to the far north to check out the broken wizard mad mage. Um,
And Baba Yasaga.
yeah, I am not sold that talking to that person is a good idea.
Well, she
Well,
has
I
the
wasn't
gem.
trying to sell that. I just want you to poke her enough to get my gem back.
I mean, yeah, that's just the long and
If
short.
indeed she has it, which I do believe she does.
Do you know of anything that we could do to barter with her for it? Anything? Do you have any knowledge of any kind of thing that she might want in return?
My people cannot get close to her without facing certain death.
And on the other side of
I
that,
suppose certain death is a
we
bit
don't need to necessarily
dramatic.
talk.
Many of us escape, but it's definitely roll of dice for a were-raven to approach her. It is.
This is kind of a silly question then. Do you know what it is she has against you and your kin?
If I could get close enough to ask, I would probably spit on her and try to kill her.
But no stories passed down as to what the source of the original bad blood was? No matter how apocryphal?
Crazy old lady lives in swamps since before time of my birth. Like I said, our people cannot get close. It is said that she is mother of Strahd. I do not personally believe this. I think this is just title.
And that being said, there's something to consider is we would only need to get the gem from her. We don't necessarily need to talk or barter or anything. Kind of looking over at Stormy at that mention of just taking the thing and running.
Taking what thing?
Dratari? I think that is the smartest thing I've heard you say.
Yay! Shit, is this character development?
That's a good point. I wasn't thinking that. I'm glad you did. We don't have to talk to her. We don't have to negotiate with her. We have a thief.
Oh, yeah.
But she could also have information on where we can find the sword made of sun.
That and the mad magician as well. The mad wizard.
Yeah, she could have information. I mean, she's been here since before this guy was born.
Yes, but she is, at least by rumor and tale, an ally to Strahd. How true or not that is depends on how much of a chance we want to take on that. And directly asking her about a weapon that I would be hard pressed to sell her on the belief that it would be for anything other than use against Strahd. And following that up by asking about someone who had formerly fought against Strahd.
I'd still be willing to risk it.
I
Risk
think
it for the
Hey,
biscuit.
Baba, have you heard of bread? Have you heard of toasted bread? Have you heard of Sun Sword toasted bread? Now, hear me out. I'm trying to find this thing. Do you know anything?
Okay, what's that a reference to?
I don't know. I just said that.
It reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay,
Yeah. The lightsaber.
Yeah,
Right. I think I was channeling that. I definitely wasn't paraphrasing anything
like
from that.
Billy Mays or
Yeah.
something.
Oh no, I thought you were doing. What's it called? Twilight Zone. Like the intro to one of the Twilight Zone episodes. Anyways, this is all to say. So we have a heist on our hands then, and maybe talk later when we have a little bit more backup, like say a mad wizard.
Sorry, what are we trying to steal from her?
The
Magic gem.
gem.
Oh,
Yeah,
she has
To
the
make
second
mine.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other wine gem.
Why are we
Yeah.
trying to steal that? Sorry, I'm
To give to
super
Mostikov?
foggy today.
To make
worries.
wine.
It's so the Mardikovs can start making Red Dragon Crush again. And then if we're lucky, we can find the one that makes champagne.
But
Sunny does not care about that.
but
That at the moment could be convinced, but at the moment,
You can also.
I'm really liking Tegan's thoughts in terms of finding other people who hate Strahd and making a We Hate Strahd club. And if no such club exists, then we will simply create it. Because
Attica.
Sunny's 100% like only motivation to leave bed each day is to get the fuck out of Barovia and not help other people yet.
You may be hard pressed to find yourselves allies that are more against Strahd than we, the keepers of the feather. The problem is, even we do not defy him openly. To do so is spelling out your own demise.
Yes, and I can hardly imagine a better way for another group to have that kind of policy than to have their main camp be surrounded by rumors of cursed land and hauntings of the forest that they're hiding in. Tegan just sits there and kind of rolls her eyes like, I'm not talking about anything in specific. So,
Well, if we find these wine gems, you think you might want to be more openly?
Although that being said, it would be a bad idea to.
I would kind of talking mostly to Stormy at this point, kind of conferring with my companion about the ally that's in front of us while ignoring the fact that the ally is in front of us. I think they're kind of better in the role that they've been doing where, like outside of the bone grinder, when they tried to warn us of the danger, and when it was during the battle, one of them swooped in and used a healing potion to revive me.
Muriel's like, oh, that was me.
Yes, that is. Their utility is in spying, warning, giving messages, and swooping in for an immediate need. I don't and I finally address the two of them. It's like, to no offense to them, but I do not think direct, outright confrontation is their strong suit or best way to keep our allies being our allies and without them, dying. So,
Well, that being said, we don't necessarily need them for combatant's sake. And then picks up one of the fingers of wine. But always remember, a lot of the most famous plots happen in taverns. And kind of indicating to like, hey, the more wine we get production and get out, the more chances we are to actually make the We Hate Strahd Club.
definitely.
Well, we could also maybe make a
Wait,
deal and use because presumably nobody's had the good stuff for 9 years. And in a place as dark and dreary as Barovia, I'm guessing there's quite a few people who would do quite a bit of stuff for that good stuff. So if we can get that gem, suddenly we might have a bargaining chip. The one thing that someone could possibly want in Barovia, alcohol.
Good alcohol.
Exactly.
And it is absolutely positively
Just like
impossible
that,
for me to
Sonny's
argue
back on
against
board.
your yeah, it's impossible for me to argue against the logic of that. That's
Yeah.
too valid of a point to ignore.
Oh.
I definitely like Tratari's plan of having you be invisible, sneak in, and try to steal it. Far, far better than any kind of us trying to deal with this person that I have no reason to have the slightest belief
That
to be
sounds
anything other than an
pretty-
enemy.
pretty solid. And if one plan fails, we can always try the other one as a backup.
Yep.
Because if I get caught but not killed, or like found out but not killed, I can just run away, and they won't know that we tried. They won't know it was me, and even if they do, you can just go try to negotiate without me.
That's true.
So we have 2 chances at this.
And then Jatari turns back to the Mordecai and Maureen and go, by the way, do you happen to have... Could you maybe draw, say, what the place looks like? Like, is there any details that you can give us of the house itself that we should know about before trying to infiltrate the place?
Also, I don't mean to be rude by overstretching the requesting hand here, but our current map of these lands was hastily and crudely drawn. Do you have a better map of the lands within these mists?
I'm sorry, we have not much need for us bird brains. A map is already there, and I personally I can only scribble. He kind of looks over your map. Is like, I have seen children draw better than this, but this is beyond even me.
So what do you call it? Chicken scratches?
Very good. Yes. Raven scratches to be sure.
A bit of a change of subject, but
sorry, to address a question that was asked, I don't remember which of you asked it, but about Baba's house and lay of land. Lay of land is muck and buildings that are in ruin, and it is very mist clings to the ground, obscures a lot, so it's hard to get a read of thing. Other than her house, I cannot say much other than it is, how do I say, not always in the same place.
It
That is all
floats
I could
around in
say
the
about
swamp?
that. Yeah, something like that. That is really all I could say about Perez. I'm sorry for cutting you, Stormy, off.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you have any paint around.
Any paint? We have
Paint or
inks to be
inks?
sure, but
Oh, inks are great. Inks are
yeah,
perfect.
yes, we
Do you
have.
wonder I was wondering if I could borrow those for a little bit.
Yes, I can go to. We have some in our
Just
printer.
black ink would be fine.
Sure, very good.
Wonderful.
All right.
Gives you a few minutes alone and turn back with your black ink shortly.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt everything. And then he sits down and pulls off her cloak and starts finger painting on her cloak. I guess you'll find out what later. But
I'm going to actually try and modify the map. I'm trying to remember her brother's name.
Ismark.
Thank you.
It took me a second too.
There it is. There it is. He just has a very different last name, Kolyanovich instead of Kolyana. It was
Yeah, the
right
naming
above her,
tradition
but
here is a little bit
right.
not what we're used to.
Anyway, I'm going to try and modify it to have a few more of our recently acquired destination knowledges around. I'm going to try and make a point of trying to figure out how and where to mark the where they said the haunted forest was, where Manu had said that this guy said it would be haunted by maybe the ghosts of the order that Manu said had been led by a silver dragon.
Yeah, he said
I believe
ghosts of
you
the
crossed.
past.
I believe you passed one of the two crossroads you walked through on your way from Valaki to this western edge of the map. One of those two, I believe, the actually no, huh? You might have been told directions by Casimir. I thought there was a crossroads that might have directed you there, but I'm thinking that's actually incorrect.
I think we saw a sign that led to Berez, but
Yes, you did that for sure.
But the Argynvostholt is just west of Valaki, so we'd probably just have to retrace our steps and look around a bit.
And okay, Argynvostholt is the name of the forested camp area. Well, I'm assuming
The
there's
mansion.
a camp somewhere in there.
I think you were told that was a mansion. By Casimir.
It's a mansion called Argynvostholt. It's where that order was, and then Strahd killed them all.
You know, I know we went down south from Valaki and talked to that camp of people, but I apparently do not remember any of those conversations at all. I don't know where my brain was that night, but
I don't know. None of that was like super important. Like none of the stuff with the
Nothing really
Vistani
bad.
seemed really important, except that they
at
had
the time, at
a
least.
missing person.
So
All right. That being
yeah, I do want to, because of Jatari and Stormy talking about it, I am pro stealing from Strahd Mother. I am for that plan wholeheartedly.
and as a side note,
But otherwise, I'm also in favor of us still going to scroll map up, Krezk and the cathedral that was there, just to make sure it is sanctified and will possibly remain that way for the foreseeable future, so we don't have a Velaki 2.0 on us, and so that we know at least one location that we can retreat to, especially if we manage to save our allies.
I mean, Velaki was the
think that's
biggest
smart.
place here.
Have a backup spot.
Yeah. So yeah, while we've lost our main reason for going there, I still want to go there just to check on the situation, check on things. They, at the very least, seem far more well fortified, far more of a fort in a very literal sense than Velaki itself was. Velaki was very open-gated, and Krezk is very not. And that may prove to make all the difference, possibly, in
Okay.
proper preparations.
And to be fair, Velaki was close-gated, but all you really had to do was speak lucidly and not like you're undead with a couple guards for like a minute to be able to be let inside. They are like the village of Barovia is not a gated town at all. Velaki and Krezk very much are, but Velaki, as you found, was very willy-nilly about its gates. Like they're closed during the day and locked at night, but during the day they're pretty willy-nilly about letting people in and out. Krezk, as you found, was very much not that way. Very locked up tight.
So yeah, I do want to go there and check the situation, and while having a shipment of wine as per their request is all well and good and one thing, and having helped out the Wizard of Wines can further that even more so. And the more we help the Wizard of Wines here, I think the better, especially if we have to come back with refugees in tow. I think it will all go better and better and better the more we've done for their allies.
Let's visit Krezk first. Coffee.
Well, is the saga on the way, or?
I think they want
Krezk would be before if you were trying to make a loop around. Neither are exactly on the way to each other, but Krezk would be closer. And we will have wagon ready to deliver wine in morning. Which is very good because, no offense to you, but you look beat to hell, my children.
Yes, we do.
We should probably rest here for the night, and then
there we go.
then take off. But yeah, I think going to try and find Babala's saga, we'd still end up having to go like more towards Velaki, and Krezk is on the west.
All right. And hey, free cart ride, so win-win. Less walking for us. Lord knows
Very much so.
we need the rest. And by this point, I'm just imagining just a whole pile of like the chicken bones for the plate there.
I thought we had been served some food. Were we served poultry by the bird people?
I did not name any food specifically,
Okay.
but I did say you were served food.
They're a winery, so it's just bread and cheese.
Where do all the bones come from?
Rats that slipped into the cheese vat.
There you go.
Oh yes, Lancelot. He makes a very good ratter.
No.
Oh no. Also,
No.
Lancelot.
That breed does make very good ratter. That's what they were bred to do when they killed off all the cats in the area because the the cats were associated with witches. They bred a
He's
bunch of the
not bad
terrier breeds.
babysitter either.
Yeah. Good
And-
dog. Good doggo.
Yes, he is good boy.
In fact, it might be for the best for you guys to look after Lancelot before we get back, Arena.
My grandchildren would be delighted, but are you sure this is not your companion?
Yeah, I'm gonna
No,
leave
he-
that decision up to Manu because it's kind of Manu's dog.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
is he?
comes with us. Yeah, he comes with us.
Oh, I thought he was Arena's dog.
Mm-mm.
never
Manu
mind.
just left Lancelot with Irina most often because they would both hang back out of danger.
Gotcha.
Manu's the owner. Irina was the hired dog walker.
Gotcha. Okay. I just
And
thought.
I don't know if any of your characters share this with Dratari in character, but Lancelot was the dog of the missing daughter of Mad Mary, the crying woman from the village of Barovia.
Oh,
She was
I don't-
crying because her daughter was missing, and then I
know-
think Manu kicked in the door a little bit, and then the dog got out, and so you just were hanging out with the
Okay.
dog since then. You're so attached to this dog that you don't remember how he died.
No, I remember we picked it up in Barovia. I just
Mm.
didn't remember exactly how.
I actually
Yes,
did
there's
remember
there's a
that
missing girl
house, the
associated
crap
with
that
that
we
dog.
did there, and that's where the dog came from. All of that I remembered, but the conversation with the people in the circus camp, nothing. My memory.
The
so
missing
selective.
girl written down somewhere.
I mean,
It's in
Gertruda
there.
was her name.
Oh yeah, Gertruda. There we go.
don't worry about it. Technically, my character sheet says that I have a pet rat, and I completely forgot about him.
Stormy suddenly jumps up from her seated position and says, "There, it's finished. What do you think?" And she turns her jacket around, and it looks like this in like finger paint.
Let's take a look. I love it.
And she puts it on and says, "Yeah, I think this way we can advertise for our club wherever we go, 24/7."
Very inconspicuous of you.
It is also it's a reversible jacket. One side is black, one side is red and yellow. So the red and yellow side is the fuck Strahd side. There is still a nondescript black side that could be worn. But let me tell you,
Davian
usually using the red and
snorts a
yellow.
little bit of wine out of his nose into his goblet. It's just like, oh, very good, very good. Would perhaps wear an overcoat in public, but very good.
No, that's the great thing. It's meant for the public.
Make sure to wear that when we go to visit Bobby Osaka.
No, I'm 100% serious. Like Sunny puts it on, and
Oh no, yeah.
It occurs to me, I was about to actually use the fact that prestidigitation can be used an hour at a time to make an indelible mark on a surface. But then I realized that my gift from the unicorns was the fact that my armor is glamored. I can change what it looks like at any time.
Oh, actually,
So-
speaking of which,
did Tegan just join the Fuck Strahd Club?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Hell yeah.
Takes an action to change what my outfit looks like. And all I'm going to change is to add that to the back.
oh, and one last thing to mention for the plan then, for the stealing the gem plan. Did we want to have a fake, just in case? A fake gem to put in its place?
I have no idea where we'd get a fake gem.
I don't
We
know
don't
if
even
anyone
know
has
what-
that ability to make like a fake person like that we could turn into a fake.
I mean, I don't even know if the one we're going after looks exactly the same as the one that we've already found.
There's legitimately pictures of the gem itself on the labels for the wine bottles that it makes. So we know exactly what it looks like. And if you recall, before you went out and did your detect objects, before we went to the YesterHill,
Yeah.
I made sure that I could craft an accurate minor image based
Alright.
on that image in order to make sure that the Wizard of Wines said, yes, that is exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
I could still hear, but I do need to be back in a second.
Oh, okay. No worries.
So,
So in that case, it wouldn't be a bad idea after we take the gem for you to do another minor illusion, just for future planning.
minor illusion in and of itself is probably a bad match for that idea. But if we manage to get a rock that is around that same type of shape, I can use the prestidigitation across several layers of prestidigitation in order to make it look like, seem like, act like that stone. And that will give us
Prestidigitation last for?
Hmm?
How long does I can
An
never say
hour.
it. How long does it last?
Prestidigitation.
1 hour.
Seed of Menemith. Then.
Okay.
I
Much
can have
better
up to
than minor illusion,
three.
yeah.
So I can have up to 3 persistent effects at a time. They last up to an hour, or once I cast a 4th persistent effect for prestidigitation, the first one wears off. The oldest one would wear off.
And yeah.
So, and Tegan will actually ask Sunny, because Tegan outright does not know what your cantrips are capable of. Would you be able to use your earth molding thing in order to shape a rock better or closer to?
No. I was actually checking just to make sure, but I can't do anything that I couldn't just do with my hands.
Okay.
Voxels only.
It's all about quantity, not quality in terms of that.
Okay.
Checking myself right now to see if I have anything fun.
Although I did one thing I did forget I could do with Mold Earth is I can create shapes, colors, or both to appear, spelling out words, creating images or patterns for an hour, which means we just got the fuck Strahd club tag right here. I can just blast that shit all day on anything.
Yep.
Only lasts for an hour, but free advertising.
You can even have temporary tags on buildings.
Oh, you know what though? Okay. It doesn't help much, but I can change the color of stone. So if we find a stone,
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking
that's
of
not
doing,
really
was layering prestidigitation in order to have the color, the glow, and the prestidigitation itself being there helps to
I can do
provide
the
the
color.
magical aura.
But yeah, I think you'll have to do everything else.
Good times. And good plans. So,
Right.
So it seems like prepare wine shipment for you to take in morning, and perhaps you are done with Krezk and whatnot business you have there. You look into this Brez business for us.
certainly, in about 2 or unless one of you is keeping an eye on us and actually makes contact if and when we do manage to obtain it, then the day after we would have obtained it, we can send magical messages to you, because I think Manu has done that at least once already.
Yep.
um, for these people, in fact. And so we can so we make no promises except that we are currently planning to try, and we will keep in contact about that.
Very good.
Yep.
I've had children and in-laws preparing rooms, space indoors. You can spend the night if you so wish, but no rush to do that now. But I have business to attend to elsewhere.
Thank you very much for the food, the hospitality, and all of the rest of the layers and levels of assistance.
Indeed. Thank you for everything.
I wish we could do more to show our appreciation, but
you have
perhaps
to live here.
sanctuary for now.
Yeah, you have to live here if we screw up. I understand that concept well enough.
Indeed. And the wine's very good now, especially after the magic gem that we were able to find for you. And when pans over, this is already like the third or fourth bottle by now.
You big fan of our winery, this one.
Oh, yes. Clink.
Well, try to be responsible, but you'll find no judgment from me.
Don't need to ride anywhere, right?
You know how winos being wine drunk have a very unique type of blushing? They with a very deep red on the nose and all of that. Like, that's not just a cartoon thing, that's actually a real thing. I have to wonder, what color is Dratari turning? Is this a what color does a choked out Smurf turn kind of scenario here?
Her nose is just turning the same like shade of purple her hair is, just over time. Yeah, just like the whole face is getting all blushed out in purple instead of red. Since she already has like a reddish pinkish hue.
Almost camouflage you among my grapevines, this one.
But Tegan isn't going to really partake of the wine so much as just water, because is very worn out from the combat and the walking back and forth, and just the stress of our ward having been kidnapped. So.
Oh no, yeah, it's kind of implied that she's drinking more than like normal kind of drinking. A little bit of the stress.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Stormy and Tegan both got way the fuck past plastered after the Battle of Valaki, where we watch people get butchered en masse.
And honestly, I think part of it is also like she's trying to smother out any chance of nightmares.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, given what wine is, where it becomes alcoholic as the result of a fermentation process, and what cheese is, with it being the result of a fermentation and basically a rotting process, both are caused by rotting of mold.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder, Do we even notice during this meal that we are all having together that there's anything odd or off with Manu? Because a decent amount of the food selection, it wouldn't that be perfectly viable for Manu?
Let me
Have
see
you
if I
tried
got
to eat or
that.
drink anything?
I don't really think so. I can't remember. I gotta look up the description.
You can only eat food that is rotten, but these are foods that are made by rotting them.
Come, Manu, join the alcoholic club.
And I know we've asked before about wine and cheese, but I don't remember what the answers were.
It does not say rotten. It says can only eat moldy, decayed, or otherwise non-edible foodstuffs.
Technically, cheese is a mold.
Yeah,
Well,
but
And
it
rotted.
is
I think the
edible.
non-edible part is key.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Okay, so
So there is
So-
like a it's like a fail safe. Just it's
Yeah.
gotta be nasty.
Like moldy bread that you pulled out of compost that's covered in penicillin, then yes, that would count as non-edible. But yeah, a nice cheese and a nice wine and a nice jar of kimchi, uh, real ginger beer, that sort of things. The kombucha is like, yes, those are very much edible and drinkable.
you're making me hungry. And I ate just before session. Big meal too. So, kombucha and kimchi. So, So then this entire time that we're having food brought out in front of us and we're having this long conversation over a meal, how noticeable is it / how much do we notice that Manu isn't partaking?
Well, I'll ask Manu, are you like going through the motions of eating and drinking, or I'm not sure if you have any dream pastry on you. You have
Well, I'm not gonna
eaten
openly
that.
eat dream pastry. Um, with the food, I would take some, but I would try to like maybe slyly put it away so that it can go bad, and then I can eat it later. So that it
Yeah,
looks.
Tegan, you're allowed to make a perception check.
I
See if you
wouldn't
notice this.
though. I was just asking how overt it was, if Manu's actually trying to hide it between injuries and distracted by conversation. There's no way I would actually be attentive enough to notice.
Same with Jatari. She's already getting drunk. So, yeah. She doesn't notice a thing.
Too bad
Stormy's
I don't
walking
have
on the nearest mirror and is looking over her shoulders like, yeah, I'm badass.
I it's too bad I don't have druid craft, because that would actually be able to help accelerate the rot if I knew that that was Manu's need.
By the way, would burning like the ever-living crap out of something be considered non-edible?
Mm,
I mean,
Burn-
it would, but at the same
like a
time, would that still be considered foodstuffs or just charcoal?
Yeah, I kind of feel like at that point you're eating ash.
It tastes of
And-
ash in your mouth?
Restores
Which is
one health.
ironically what fresh food tastes like to Manu.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm trying to go through my stuff and trying to see if I can do anything to help.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Swan, because you are in one.
Very literal for us.
I don't know. Have we seen ghosts?
Not
Horror
in
story.
Barovia yet, but
Yeah.
in episode
Yes.
2, you fought a
Yet.
ghost.
Yeah, we fought the ghost and then went down and fought the dragons. Ironically, in the land of the haunted, no ghosts. Before we got here, ghosts.
What the hell? We were promised ghosts.
We were promised vampires, and we have gotten too much of that.
So we're gonna take a long oh, actually, there was something I actually did want to. I wanted to ask Chitari why you're scared of fire.
It's kind of back home in a way. Bad experience with fire. It's actually, yeah, no, never mind. I'm just gonna
Fire bad.
be drunk. So it's yeah, bad time with me and my compatriots back then. He was trying to stronghold someone, and next thing you know, we accidentally burned down half of my own villa, half of the town I was living in.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yes, there might have been a reason I was a little bit quick on the buckets there, that none of you were helping me out with. So, yeah.
Manu and I were helping as we could with thaumaturgy, putting out the fires.
Oh, there's actually a video of the accident that I think Atari is talking about.
Really? I never seen Zoolander, so this is completely new to me.
Sorry. Yeah, there's a scene where they have a fight at the gas station with gasoline.
Don't they
And-
erect a fountain in their honor?
Yeah,
Like
it's
after, like towards the end of the movie, and they're using the gas hoses.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie since I was in 7th grade.
Me and Marcella just rewatched it because it was going off of Netflix.
But yeah, it's just one of those things that I end up having to run away from my own hometown because of it. And I guess nothing else, it at least brought me to Church of Zaldin, so nothing all is bad. But yeah, I'd rather not use it if I don't have to, despite me being able to have fire powers in the first place. So yeah, fun times. And then starts drinking again.
So in the morning, the only other thing that I'm going to want to do is at some point in time, I'm going to ask the people who live here if they have, because I have alchemist supplies and proficiency with it. I'm going to be asking them if they have the chemicals that I would need in order to refine it into alchemist fire, so that I can help them have the little oil is one thing, but having a vial of alchemist fire in order to set all the oil off if they do try to burn the big tree and all the twig blights and other blights.
Yeah,
just kind of asking them if they have the materials for me to turn into the firebomb for them.
Hold on to that thought. Is everybody else mostly like getting ready for bed?
Actually, on that note,
Yeah, I think
How-
Sunny's barely standing at this point, so.
And actually, before even since I do have two more clicks left, in that same vein, just in case for any contingency, takes up one of the glasses of one of the jugs of water, and starts blessing the water through ceremony. And just to Mordekov, just in case.
So you're adding that to your inventory or giving that to
Mordekov.
Erwin? Okay.
Just
what's the
because
last thing you're doing before going to bed?
just because I use that spell on a similar character in another campaign, every time you cast it, you do have to have the silver cost.
Oh, okay.
It costs 25 silver to cast
Cool.
that.
Gotcha. I don't even know how much money you have. Shoot.
Is
know I
Manu
have-
doing anything before going to bed?
I'll try and sneak off, and then I'll eat the rest of my dream pastry where no one can see me.
Make a con save.
Wait. Good.
$19.
Okay, good. Okay, so Dratari and Stormy and Manu kind of going their separate ways while getting ready to tuck themselves in. Stormy just like not doing really good, probably the first to bed. Dratari kind of loses track of Manu, who kind of goes around to maybe gets a little bit more sustenance out of the compost pile, and while you're there, sneaks in. I'm not sure how much dream pastry you have left, but I'll say 1/4 of one dream pastry
I
has
have
been consumed. And
I have-
Dratari, you were saying how much you had?
I have 3/4 of a dream pastry, and I'll just eat
Okay.
it all.
Okay. And Dratari blessing the water for Mardukov. Tegan, you find your companions have gone their way into the room that has been prepared for you all. And you're lingering up to talk with Erwin Mardukov. It's like you're asking about some sort of fire contraption. What ingredients would you need for such a thing?
Out of character, the books never specify. It's just I need half a pound, which is 25 gold pieces worth of the chemical materials. I would imagine it would be things like refined alcohol or other stuff, since it's basically it's basically an air contact activated napalm is what alchemist fire in D&D is.
You can follow me to my glass blowing shop. It's where we make bottles. We have some odd fuels and this, that, to fire the kiln and such things. I could show you around, poke around what I have, see if you could throw something together.
I'm mostly doing this so that if you had enough oil or flammable alcohol in order to torch the corrupt tree on top of the hill, you would have something to set it all off. So all you'd have to do is have enough accelerant and fuel. I'm just trying to provide you guys with a spark to drop.
And you can achieve all of this in a 1 pound package?
Materials that I need to refine weigh about half a pound, but a lot of that ends up being refined off, kind of like when you turn the wine into brandy. you end up with a lot less brandy than you had of the wine, but